Doing volume of pyramids and cones today. So first, let's start with the volume of a pyramid. To find volume, we're going to do big B times H and then divide that whole thing by 3. Now, big B is the area of the base, okay? And in our case with these pyramids, they are usually going to be squares. Okay, so the area of the base is usually going to be a square for you guys. So let's go ahead and let's see an example of it. So it says find the area of the base and find the volume of each figure below. So let's look at number 1. First, let's do the area of the base. The base is a square. It's right here, okay? And in that square, the dimensions are on that square, the dimensions are 8 by 8. So 8 times 8 will give us the area of the base, which is 64 feet squared. So we found the area of the base, 64 feet squared. Now we have to find the volume. So the volume is the area of the base times the height, all divided by 3. And I want you to be careful here. Once we start putting in our numbers, I just want you to be careful on how you do this with your calculator. So the area of the base is 64, and the height is always the perpendicular line, okay? This is our height right here. That's our height because it's perpendicular. So that's times 12. And then that's all divided by 3. Here's where I want you to be careful. Some calculators are kind of crazy and they don't do order of operations correctly. So I want you to multiply 64 by 12 first. So if I do 64 times 12 in my calculator, I get 768. And then I want you to divide by 3. So if I do that with my calculator, it actually comes out nice and pretty. My volume is 256. But remember, volume has 3 dimensions, right? It's all the space inside of this figure. So your units then are going to be cubed. All right, I would like you to do number 2 for class. It's very similar to number 1, like super similar, just with different numbers. So go ahead and try number 2 and bring that one to class with you. Let's move on to number 3. On number 3, it's a little bit different, but let's start it out like we normally would. The base here is 10 by 10. So the base is 10 by 10. And 10 times 10 is going to give us 100. Since this is an area, it's going to be millimeters squared. So 100 millimeters squared. But we want to find volume. And we know the volume is the area of the base times the height. And since it's a pyramid, it's all divided by 3. Comes to a point, you divide it by 3. So we know the area of our base is 100, but we do not know the height. Now you might be thinking 13 is the height, but it's not. It is the slant height, and we want our regular height, which is right here inside of our pyramid. So we'll call that H for the height, and then we can form a triangle here. So maybe you're remembering what we're going to use. So this is 13, so they say that's C, this is A, and what is this length right here? It starts in the center and goes to the edge. Center to the edge. So what's the center of 10 and go to the edge? How long would that be? It would be 5 millimeters. And we'll call this our B. So you're going to have to do Pythagorean theorem here. So if A squared plus B squared equals C squared, we know A is H, we know B is 5, and we know C is 13. So H squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. We know 5 squared is 25, and we know 13 squared is 169. So H squared plus 25 equals 169. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract this 25 from both sides. And when you subtract 25 from 169, you get 144. How do you do the inverse of squaring? You're going to have to square root. So the square root of 144 on your calculator then should give you 12. So the height of our pyramid here is 12 millimeters. Now we can go put this 12 in right there, all over 3. Remember what I told you to do. Multiply your top together first, so we'll have 1200 over 3. And then go ahead and divide it out. So when I divide this out, I have 400 millimeters, and since this is volume, it's going to be cubed. Okay? I would like you to try number 4. It's exactly like 3 with different numbers. So try number 4 and bring number 4 to class with you. Remember, you can always pause, rewind, rewatch, do whatever you need to do to understand the problems. If you get confused, you can take it nice and slow if you need to. Let's talk about number 5. A pyramid has a volume of 96 cubic feet. So the first thing I would do is write down the formula, which is V equals area of base times height over 3. So it says that the volume is 96, so this is our V, and the area of the base is 36, so that must be our big B. So I'm going to write sideways here, 96 equals 36H over 3. And you can go ahead and do 36 divided by 3. If you do 36 divided by 3, you end up getting 12. So 96 equals 12H. And then you want to divide by 12 on both sides. And when you divide by 12 on both sides, you'll get that H equals 8. What are the units? The height is 8 what? Cows, dogs, chickens, clouds? No, 8 feet. Don't square it, it's not area. Don't cube it, it's not volume. All right, let's keep on going. Let's talk about some cones. So notice it is the exact same formula, but the base is a circle in this case, okay? And just remember, if you need to find the area of a circle, it's pi r squared. And if you need to find the perimeter of the circle, which is also a circumference, it's 2 pi r. So these two formulas have been showing up a lot in this section. So let's look at number 1. Find the area of the base and the volume of each figure below. So first let's find the area of the base. And the base is a circle. However, they gave us the diameter, we need the radius. To find the radius, take 12 and divide it by 2 and you'll get 6. So now we can find the area of our base, which is pi r squared. Pi is going to be 3.14 and our radius is going to be 6. So the base equals 3.14 times the radius, which is 6, and then we square it. Be careful, I'd like you to do the square first. Order of operations says exponents first. So we'll have 3.14 times 6 squared, which is 36. And then if we do 3.14 times 36 on the calculator, I get about 113.04. But this says to round answers to the nearest whole number. So if we're going to round to the nearest whole number, then our base is about 113 meters squared, just like that. But we're not done, because they said they wanted volume. Well, volume's the same. Area of the base times the height divided by 3. What's the area of the base? We just found it, 113. What's the height of the cone? Remember, it's perpendicular, so it's this right here, it's the 10. And then we would divide everything by 3. So make sure you multiply the top together first. So 1130 is what you get on top, and you would divide that by 3. Now, when I do this in the calculator, I get about 376.7. But they want us to round to the nearest whole number. So if we round that, that's going to be 378 meters. Remember, it's cubed because it's volume. I'm going to ask that you guys do 2 for class. So go ahead and do 2 and bring that into class with you. If you need to rewatch 1, but 2 is almost identical to it, except I'm giving you the radius instead of the diameter. So let's move on down to here and look at number 3. On number 3, we're going to do the same thing. So first, let's find the area of the base. Pi r squared. Pi is 3.14, and in this picture, we don't have a radius, do we? So let's draw this triangle in. This right here would be our radius. Well, since it's a right triangle, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So that's A, that's B, and that's C. Okay, and we're going to do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So we're going to have 4 squared plus r squared equals 5 squared. What's 4 squared? 16, and 5 squared is 25. So 16 plus r squared equals 25. Then we're going to subtract that 16 from both sides, and we will get 9. So r squared equals 9. To undo a square, we take the square root. So r equals the square root of 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So our radius in this picture is 3 inches. Now we can go over here and tackle the base. So we have 3.14 times the radius, and we found out that the radius was 3. So 3 squared then on our calculator is 9. So B equals 3.14 times 9. And then we do 3.14 times 9 on the calculator. And when I do that, I get about 28.26. But they want us to round to the nearest whole number. Well, the 2 doesn't change anything, so this is going to be about 28 inches squared. Then we have to find volume. So it's the area of the base times the height, all divided by 3. So the area of our base we found was 28, and our height is the perpendicular one, so our height is 4. Don't use the slant height. And that's all divided by 3. So then the next thing we're going to do is 28 times 4. And 28 times 4 is 112, and we divide that by 3. And then 112 divided by 3 in the calculator gives us a decimal, and it's about 37.3. So if it's 37.3, then this is going to round to about 30, not 38, it's going to round to about 37 inches cubed, just like that. I would like you to do 4 and bring that to class. It's almost identical to 3, except it's giving you a diameter. You know your radius is going to be what then? 12. So when you use your little half a triangle here, you know you're going to have a radius of 12. You're not going to use the 24. All right, bring that to class. If you can have those done, that would be awesome. And we'll go over them there, and I will see you then. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.